we're back from executive session. We just approved on moving forward with the personnel matter.
Thank you very much.
We are moving forward
Moving forward on the personnel matter.
with a personnel
Yep.
matter.
It's what the board decided in the executive session. Let's go to the report departments and board. Supervisor report, November 2021. Met with representatives of Dock Road Marlborough project and town engineer Dennis Larios to discuss possible sewer capacity expansion. This is the Lawton project, which is on down in Dock Road in Marlborough. It was back in the day, it was a Ginsburg project and something else, but these people are interested. And the only thing is about the sewer capacity. So talking to Dennis Larios, we might be able to increase our sewer capacity from 175 to 200. That seems to be helpful. And if Bayside goes through, which it looks like Bayside is actually buying the commercial part, so this way the IDA looks a lot more presentable. And so they might get something done with that. So that being said, the Bayside project has to kick in $303,000 for the sewer, $100,000 per each phase. So that would be $300,000. And if Layton decides to build the high-end condos, they would have to kick in $400,000. So that would make $700,000 to improve the Marlborough plant, plus with the Biden funds that we received, $430,000 or $480,000 or whatever it was that's in the bank already. And then in 2022, we get the second portion of that. So that's where we're going to put the money into our sewer plant. So it's needed. We met there a few times, Alan, and it's built back in the late 70s or early 80s, so it's in bad shape.
Commissioned
Yeah, I was in the first phase.
It was commissioned in 82, I believe.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed.
Now, that money will include upgrading the system, correct? And adding the extra.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So for Layton to feel comfortable to buy that piece of property for their development, for their high-end condos, they have to feel that they could flush the toilets. So that's the reason why they're talking to Larios to see if we could increase the capacity from 175 to 200 now.
Good.
And it seems like it's doable. So, and then the money's come in to handy to fix the rest of the plant up with the 400 and 300 to 700,000.
We don't have an estimate on what that's going to be, though. the total.
No, it's going to be $1 million probably.
Okay, but we're
Well, for the
well over
upgrades
a
that we
million.
need,
Huh?
we already have an item list of, or a price list of what it needs.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's over $1 million.
The $1 million does include exclusion of other items, but then, like you said, we prioritize each individual
Now,
thing.
that also includes the expansion, too. That's in there? Expanding it to one.
No, we're not going to expand it.
Oh, you're not?
We're
No,
just
no.
bringing it up to date.
Up to date, and then the Speedies permit will change it from 175 to 200, depending on if the DEC okays it.
Okay. So that's what he wants. He wants assurance that they're going to be able to do that.
Yes, exactly. It's not a bad thing. Met with Timothy Wiederman from Ulster County, is the deputy to the executive at the Milton Landing Park, to show him the work that's been done. Trying to get them involved to give some of the money that they received from the Biden monies. Met with engineer Phil Bell to discuss the contracts for Tomvac and Tomvac building, and I believe that Councilman Corcoran and Councilman Baker also met with Phil Bell, and so I would need permission to sign those contracts, but I want to discuss that later on in the meeting. Attended the Ulster County Association Supervisors meeting in Kingston. Dealt with Eric Felter from Parsons Consultant on arranged meeting at the landfill to test the water there. The DEC is testing our wells there. As you know, I think we have 10, 11 wells there, maybe 12 one you can't get at.
Can't get to the last one.
Yeah, so they're actually going to test them and do a sample of the water testing at those wells on the landfill.
So this is the biannual test that we've been doing?
No, we don't pay for it. It's actually the first time I know that DEC is interested in testing our landfill.
There was one other time they did.
Was it?
Yeah, I remember.
I don't remember. I always remember hiring Miller or somebody like that.
Yeah, maybe it was Miller, I'm not positive. I know it was tested though.
So they were up there, they did the testing, we're waiting back. Takes a month to see what the conclusion was. In the past, it's always been okay. There's no contaminants in those wells, anything leaching from the landfill. Met with town legal representative David Weiss and Brooke Youngsworth and Chief Koza, discussed personal matters, and we had that the executive meeting. I attended Troop 72 Eagle Scout Award ceremony. They had actually 3 individuals receive the Eagle Scout. Met with Roger Connor to sign a contract for Altus Cablevision. Cablevision, as we know, has been bought, I believe, from a French company, which is called Altus, A-L-T-I-C-E. So I signed that contract. It's a portion of Marlborough that's in the corner. I think it has very low...
Yeah, it's the one that's Buenos Aires, almost.
Yeah, it has a couple hundred users, maybe not even that. I think we get some revenue of around $4,000 or $5,000 a year from that. Worked with members of the Town Recreation Committee, Councilman Corcoran, Officer Fulton, Highway Superintendent John Alongi, to plan trunk or treat, attended trunk or treat. And today I attended Mr. B, they call him, Mr. Barbarone,
Barbalone.
class of high school to talk about public policy, and that was interesting. I tend to put about 4 of them asleep. I don't know how I did that, but anyhow. So that's my report, gentlemen, for November 2021. Do we have Mr. Corcoran, Building Inspector's report? Anybody like to read that?
Either way. I'll do it.
Okay.
Building inspector report for the month of October. Let me see if I could see this from a distance.
You got your glasses?
Oh, I don't need it. from
It
a
should be on
distance.
your phone.
Certificate, oh, you got it right here? Now I need my glasses, now I'm up close. I could actually see it further away better. Certificate of occupancy 5, request for information 17, trailer park renewal 0, building extensions 2, fire inspections 14, fire calls 1, order of remedies 6, complaints 21, burn permits issued 11, total mileage 1,388, total gas usage 88 gallons, building permits, addition renovations 8, barns 2, burning 12, carport garages 2, deck stairs 3, demolitions 1, electrical HVAC 1, furnace boiler 1, generator 2, hot tub 1, roof 4, sheds 2, solar panels 3, tank installs and removal 1, wood pellet stove 2, total permits 45, estimated cost of building $819,893, certificate occupancy 750, permit extensions 374, building permit 8,053.54 cents. Request for information 1,700. Total building fees $10,877.54. Fire inspections 1,045. Burn fees 50, and total fees for the month $11,972.54.
Thank you, Scott. Chief?
Activity for the month of October 2021. Personal injury auto accidents 2, fatal 0. Property damage accidents 39 for a total of 41 for the month. Summons is issued, vehicle and traffic 94, 0 parking tickets issued. Complaint activity, total blotters entered 1,626 with a total of 17 arrests for the month. Telephone calls handled 1,818 telephone calls. Overtime for full-timer and part-time police officers is attached. Dispatcher overtime, full-time is 19 hours. Part-time dispatcher overtime, 49 hours due to holidays. Police mileage for the month, 10,989 miles, with a fuel consumption of 1,162.756 gallons. Let the board know that the Marlborough Police Department is participating in No Shave November. It's a fundraiser we do every year. It was originated...
We can tell.
Right.
Look at you.
It was originated that they would take donations and send it to various organizations. This year, as well as last year, we're going to take the money that the officers donate to participate and put that towards the toy drive that will be starting up very shortly. My second note is we'll be doing the toy drive again this year. We will start collecting gifts, toys, cards, and cash, wrapping paper, bows, and tape, and everything that goes with Christmas, so that we can give out to our local families in need. Any family that wants to apply, just contact us and we'll get you an application, and we'll make the arrangements we need to make your Christmas holiday season a great success. Quickly want to talk about some of the security issues and updates that we've had here since that incident involving Mr. Corcoran and Mr. Van Amberg. We had a town hall meeting involving some of the employees that were directly involved. We had some great open discussion. That meeting did go very well. However, in my opinion, some of the ideas that were discussed are pie in the sky wish ideas. Out of the group of ideas, some of the ones that came recommended or something we might pursue is, I broke it down to three different things. We have and will be having a discussion in reference to the window at the town clerk's office. Currently, that's just a plexiglass window that slides left and right. To make that a more secure office, since it's the initial point of contact from the public entry, there was discussion of possibly making that a bulletproof type window with a pass-through drawer or a pass-through tray. I just preliminarily started talking to people about making that or getting estimates on what something like that would cost. So I have nothing concrete to provide to the board yet, but there's been discussion about that. One of the other items we talked about is having a completely managed control access of the building. I had some discussion with the school about that. They have a long-term plan that they've been working on, and that part of that plan consists of locking this building down, much like one of the regular schools, where it would be controlled access. Nobody would be able to just free-willy walk in and out of the building. The school did provide us with the abilities to do that, but with further discussion with some of our office heads, it became an issue of being able to man that controlled access point. Ultimately, the plan was to end it up in the town clerk's office. However, not consulting with them, and now since we quickly realized that that's not really a good option, that they just don't have the time to sit there and buzz the door and let everybody in for both the town side and the school side, because there'd be a single point of access, which would be the Milton Turnpike side of the school district, until some point in the future where they make the other entrance a controlled access as well. But currently we have the ability to do that today, but we haven't initiated a policy to do that. One of the things that was suggested, we could possibly do like an intermunicipal agreement with the school district and actually get a greeter, somebody that would sit in the hallway up there and be able to control the access to the two doors and then direct people to wherever they needed to go, whether it be the town side or the school side. Something on the agenda to keep an eye out on. Another discussion we had was, rather than doing controlled access for the entire building, doing controlled access for the individual offices. For example, we'll use the supervisor's office. That door, not that the supervisor's office wants to be a controlled access office, but I'm just using an example. That door would be closed. People would come to the door and hit an intercom type button. Inside the office, people would be alerted and they'd be able to speak to whoever's on the outside of that door and decide whether they could come in or not to that office. Very much like we do at the police department. So that was another thing we discussed. Not sure how serious everybody is about that. It wouldn't be an extremely expensive adventure, but it would need to be done on the individual office doors. More practical for like the assessor's office and the building department's office and the town clerk's office, because the two doors on the assessors and the building department, you could see through. So be able to see who's on the other side of the door and then deciding whether they can actually come in the office or not makes sense. The town clerk has a giant window that people would stand at. Not a lot of people even go into the town clerk's office, but they wouldn't have to get up out of their desk to actually go and open that door the 7,000 times a day that I walk in and out of there. They'd be able to buzz it in. So that's another option that we discussed. Since the incident on October, whatever the date was, a couple of weeks ago, there's been no more instance of anything like that. It's been quiet on the home front. So the ball's kind of in our court as to how safe we want to make our employees feel, what the expenditure to make those things happen, and the desire of each department head to be able to control access to either the building or their individual offices, or we do nothing. We run a long time with very few problems, but do you want to wait for a problem to happen before we decide to make the necessary security changes? That's something we can discuss as a group, board. Well, ultimately, it'd be up to the board, whatever they do, but, based on employee input, that's something that we can continue to have conversation on.
I mean, all those suggestions, all those ideas, ultimately is not 100%. Of course, if
No,
I'm looking at somebody, I don't know if they have a gun.
absolutely not. All it is a preventative measure. That doesn't mean that so let's argue we lock the building down, much like we have the police department locked down. So you can't come in from the parking lot into the lobby of the police department without buzzing that buzzer. We have a video camera on it so we could see whoever's buzzing that buzzer. That doesn't prevent somebody from having a gun in their waistband or a gun in their pocket. I mean, if somebody wants to come in and do damage of any type, be it with a firearm, be it with their fists, they're going to get in the building and do what they want. It's very difficult to determine, short of having a bazooka or machine gun strapped to their back, it's very difficult to notice that anybody has a weapon of any type or what their intentions are. In most situations, even at the school level, they're not usually banging on the door, screaming, yelling, "Let me in, I'm going to kill somebody."
Right.
They come in cool, calm, and collected, and then explode inside. I'm a big fan of controlled access. But that's the life I've lived for many years here, so that may not work best. We have a delicate balance you have to maintain between the public's ability to access the services that they need and for us to be able to provide those services and keep our employees safe. So it's tough to come up with a balance, but if the employees don't feel safe in their work environment, they're not going to be able to provide the services. There's some workplace violence policies that we have that particular situation that occurred would probably be a workplace violence situation. And the town has certain responsibilities that they have to accomplish when and if a situation like that occurs. And the public coming in and abusing our employees can't be acceptable in any way. And in this particular incident, it wasn't. It was dealt with. Even any of the few incidents I'm familiar with, and there hasn't been very many in all the years that I can remember, they've all been dealt with. Nobody just comes in free willies and then gets to leave after abusing the employees. So that's where we are with that situation. That's where we are with the security updates. It's still open dialogue. Nothing's concrete. Obviously, we've taken no action. I just started getting prices on redoing Colleen's window. When I say just, I only made a phone call today. We'll get numbers, and I will provide those numbers to the board. And based on discussion with Colleen and the board, if that's something they want to go through, we can make those arrangements. If we move forward with other things, I'm willing to help out in any way that I can to make the entire building secure. So I will stay on top of it, and through open discussion, we'll figure it out.
I mean, there's another option, I'm just thinking off the top of my head too, is when you come in the main part of the building upstairs, you notice the school has their side locked off. We could also build on our side a lock off to the main offices. If
Right.
the clerk's office has got the new bulletproof window and secure door, and maybe if we put something there with a buzzer to each office with a camera.
Yep.
Again, nothing's secure, nothing's 100%, but at least that way people just can't walk in and just start walking down the hallways and start wandering hallways.
The school district has a double door that's unlocked.
They have it unlocked right now, but we could make one that's locked.
And
with a
they
buzzer.
added that, so that's definitely something we can absolutely do. And it would be like an apartment complex buzzer. You'd get to that door,
Right.
and there'd be 3 or 4 or 5 buttons, depending on the department, and you buzz the department you
Exactly.
want, and they would speak to you and let you in. That's definitely a doable system and something we can accomplish. It's
I mean,
just
it's
gonna
some
be based on
crazy-
what the town wants.
I
mean,
mean, so are you gonna have a video also, so I can see the person?
You'd have to have
I would, absolutely. The
Right.
intercom system would, so the current intercom system that's upstairs that the school provided us access to does have a video camera intercom on it. So basically, the way it works is outside there's a nice box with a video camera in it, you buzz the buzzer on it, and it activates a phone, and there's currently 4 of them, 3 on the school side, 1 sitting on a shelf on our side not being used. That phone beeps, lights up, monitor turns on, and you get to see who's buzzing the buzzer, and you can communicate with them. If we were to do something internally, like Scott's suggesting, we would have to do something very similar to that with an intercom with a video, absolutely. Anything's doable.
Okay. And with money, anything's.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you, do you, I'm sorry.
No, I was
Do
gonna
you
say,
know
go
any
ahead.
other towns that actually do have a lockdown?
Town of Newburgh is, you can't get into any of their official
The
offices
city
without being.
or the town?
Town of Newburgh.
Town.
Okay.
Town of Newburgh. Currently, the town of Fishkill is locked down.
I know.
But
when
that's COVID lockdown
Okay.
still, so under normal pretenses, they're not locked down during the
I
day.
know when I go see Gil, I walk right down, there's no,
Yeah, Tommy's
there's
informed me
no
that the town of
gating.
Newburgh building department, you can't get to without an appointment.
okay.
Now, I'm not familiar with other towns, I don't really peruse them, so, but that's nothing but a phone call away to figure it out. I can guarantee you just about every police department you can't get into. Not per se the lobbies, but the police department themselves, that's common nature. I moved forward with the secure lobby here, just based on everything that's going on, I just continued it from COVID, and it's probably one of the smartest moves we made. It's a little inconvenient for the dispatcher, for specifics, early voting was a nightmare, but we had options, we could've went and propped that door open.
Right.
We did allow them to use the side door until it got too cold, and then we just decided that we would buzz everybody in. They hit the buzzer, they tell us why they're here, and we let them in and give them directions to where to go. It worked out very well. So it was a little inconvenient, they had to hit the buzzer 1,000 times a day. It's not the end of the world. However, picking up a phone, talking to people, when there's only one person in the office, I get that. You know, I have a dedicated person sitting at a desk to answer the phone and buzz the door, so it's a little different under my circumstances.
I get it too. What I suggested to you, I think it's even reasonable because what I always feared is during tax season, when there's all that cash that the clerk and the assistant clerk has, and there's really no protection. So I like the idea even for that issue to have some kind of, I don't know if it has to be bulletproof, whatever, and the pass-through. I think that's, maybe the board disagrees, but I think that's the start. I think that's the beginning of the whole, it should be there, like Scott says.
Right.
And I don't know how we get there, because you need the gatekeeper has to be the person who lets that individual in.
Right.
And that gatekeeper, depending on who it is, really doesn't really want to feel responsible letting in a shooter. So it's a combination of a lot of
No.
things, right?
There's no one size fits all,
Yeah.
and yeah, there's that of, you know, God forbid that person lets somebody in that does harm, but
And then you don't, I mean, you don't, to me, it's like the town hall. You want to feel like you could go to the town hall and do business and stuff
you
like
do,
that.
but when people come to the town hall, they're not usually coming for pancakes and hot chocolate. They're coming to pay their taxes,
Right.
bone of contention. They're coming to pay their school taxes, bone of
Right.
contention. They're coming to court to pay their fines, bone of contention. They're coming to court because they've either been victimized or we called them here because we're gonna arrest them, bone of contention. People don't come here because they're all warm and fuzzy, usually. Even coming to get your building department, your shed permit. Still a bone of contention because it costs you money. Most people don't care, it's $50, whatever it is, not a big deal.
I got it.
But the one guy that lost his job and his wife just died and somebody kicked his dog, maybe that's the day that he decides this is the place. It's not if, it's when. And this was a small picture of what could happen, occurred a couple of weeks ago.
I got you.
But again, you can't plan for
I mean,
everything.
Jerry, one question I would just have is, have you ever denied anybody buzzing them in?
No.
So, I guess the point is, if you have never denied anybody buzzing in, what's the protection? Is it just more of a show factor
Well,
than a?
It is a show. It shows that there's a point of security here.
Right.
The other thing is, if you're buzzing someone in and he's hitting the buzzer and he's open this effing door, you're not letting that guy in, right? I mean, that makes sense.
Right.
You're calling down and having him escorted maybe, I don't know. But most people don't come banging on the door saying, let me in, let me in.
I mean, again, that's my point. So, you're gonna buzz them all in anyway.
Right.
Is it really preventing anything?
No, but it's the theory of the security that they're there, that show that it's there.
I think basically
It's
what
another
you're
step.
saying, it's not for the people coming in, it's for our employees to make them feel safe.
That's correct.
So-
It's a security blanket. It's not a
Yep.
magic shield. Absolutely not a magic shield. I mean, listen, we do a pretty good job of screening the people that come into our police department. Again, you're not patting people down. You're not checking their pockets. Anybody can come inside any place
Well, yeah,
and
we
do
don't-
whatever they want. Most times, they come in, they're normal, they're calm, they're collected, and then something kicks them off while they're here, and you have an issue. Whether it be you don't take their check or their credit card gets denied, whoever knows what sets people off. But, we see more of this in the school, and that parent gets in, they do the the ID thing, the machine that they have there, they're checking in, they go in, they start having a conversation, and then it explodes. They're in the building, they did everything they could to ID the guy and get him in, and they did everything right, but again, it's not a fail-safe for anything, and it's not, the onus is not on one person to that person has to feel that they let the bad guy in, because you just don't know, you really don't know. But it does provide a level of security for the employees, and if that makes them feel better about coming to work every day and not worried, we talked about a buzz system, a panic system. We have one installed here in the court, there's one here on this desk, Scott is well aware of it.
We have one up in the,
We have one in the
Assessment-
clerk's
your
office. We got
There's one in the clerk's office.
The clerk's office.
Yep, and what it does is basically it's a panic button.
Right.
And when it goes off, it rings off into the dispatch office. We have it labeled for the appropriate place, and we go running upstairs,
You wanna test it?
and we know it
We
works.
can do it right now.
So that is also another option that you could install in the 3 offices
hit it
that
every
we
other
have.
week.
That would be a very, very inexpensive, easily done security measure. Just something to keep in
Well,
mind.
I think these are all great ideas, but I'd like the board to, what's your feelings on the safety glass or the glass, bulletproof glass with
I think we all said we were.
with the way you can speak
I mean, I think I'm in favor of it, I just wanna see some estimates.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
all.
that's
what
what
it
you
is.
wanna
I would
continue.
definitely,
I mean, I don't want him to waste his time and get 3
We all
estimates.
said we were in favor of that last week, we talked about it last time.
Yes, we,
I just want it on record. Thank you very much.
So, on record.
We'll move forward with that.
Okay.
thanks, Jerry.
The last thing I want to discuss with you is, last week? Last week I had a meeting with my liaison committee, Councilman Malinelli, Councilman Baker. I expressed some concerns that I'm having over in the police department in terms of administration. The state has, in their famous way, sent down a bunch of mandates, unfunded mandates, on some more admin stuff that we have to do, specifically gender, race, and creed reporting on traffic stops and arrests. There's some hiring practices we have to change. We have to do polygraphs and psychologicals, on new candidates now. So the admin level of work is increasing, and there's just not enough people to spread that out on. The point of my meeting with the liaison committee was because come up with I came up with what I thought was a fantastic idea, and even figured out how to pay for it, with one major flaw in it. So my idea was, and understanding that, and I know most of you guys are, so right now, we have 4 people that run the department. Myself, 2 sergeants, and a civilian head dispatcher. All within, 3 of us are at retirement age. The last sergeant has got another year left, and then he's retirable. So our concern is that we have nobody that can administrate or run that department unless we make some changes now. The next possible person would be a sergeant that could possibly run the department in the event that the 4 of us left. And that sergeant can't do it for at least another 3 years because he's not qualified to take another test until he's a sergeant for 3 years. So we don't have that sergeant yet. We have somebody that can be that sergeant, but that position has not been made. So my grand scheme idea was to come to talk to you guys, or talk to my liaison committee about making a lieutenant. The one fatal flaw in my whole mathematician proposal was that I forgot he comes off the road, and that adds a $65,000 price tag to trying to make a position like that. So, that being said, I'm still seeking and looking for additional help in the admin support part, and I think a way we can do that is if the board would allow me to promote a 3rd sergeant. It would come from our rank and file. That'd be a working road sergeant, so we wouldn't lose any shifts that that particular person covers now. I would be able to spread out more of the admin duties, a lot of which I do, and the admin of discovery, onto that, amongst those 3 sergeants. Alleviate a little bit of the work the 2 sergeants are doing now, plus alleviate a little bit of the work I'm doing at 3rd sergeant. I crunched some numbers in my budget, and if I were allowed to reallocate a couple of dollars from this line and that line, I think we could come up with the promotional increase in salary without asking the town
It
board.
was like
for
$5 grand or something, wasn't it? 10?
Without asking the town board for additional funding, understanding that the 2022 budget's already been set. And this is probably something I should have been worrying about way back when we started crunching the numbers for the budget. But as in years past, I've brought this up, and in years past, it's always been an economical situation. And now with the more mandates, it became to the forefront. So I'm asking the board, not for a decision tonight, but to consider, have some conversation amongst you all to see if it's allowable that I make a promotion to that 3rd sergeant, giving us the relief that we need. And then obviously look forward to 2023 to make some major changes. Because in 2023, all 4 of us are capable of retiring. And I know everybody's replaceable, but good luck. When your 4 top guys all decide to go.
And what would prevent that from this happening if we did this?
You'd have, well, in 3 years from
One
the
of the
promotion to
persons
sergeant, you'd have somebody you could hire internally to run the department.
What would prevent all 3 years from leaving?
Nothing.
Okay.
We could do that today.
And to
But
add,
today, you have nobody that can run the department.
I
We don't,
understand.
the next best thing you have is a 4-year officer who's not even authorized or capable by law to run the police department. You have to be a sergeant for 3 years before you can even qualify to take the next
Like I
test,
say,
which would be the lieutenant's.
I'm open to a lot of things. I talked to you about
Yes.
this. This is a negotiation thing. This isn't something that's just added free-willy.
Unfortunately, I strongly disagree with you. It has nothing
But
to do with the union.
there's
It has to do
nothing,
with the future of
there's
the police
nothing in
department.
our contract that states 3 sergeants.
No.
Everything is contractual. If it was on the other side, it would be a contractual ask for a give back of any kind. I'm not saying I'm not against this, Jerry. I'm just saying
Understand.
this is a contractual thing
There's nothing in the contract that says I
that
can't
would have to
12
be added.
sergeants.
We'd
There's
have to
nothing
add
that
a whole new
prevents us from
position.
having the sergeants.
So I think
So-
this discussion,
There would have to be a whole new position created,
No,
which comes to a
That's
contract.
incorrect. We had 3 sergeants in 2012.
Jerry.
It would just be making the promotion.
Do
It
we-
exists.
We do not have 3 sergeants in our contract.
Yes, we do.
No, we
It does
don't.
not prevent us from having 40 sergeants if we wanted them.
No, it does
There's
not.
nothing in the contract that prevents that. It's already stipulated. All you're doing is making the promotion from a 5-year officer to a sergeant's position.
I would
All it
dis-
is money.
I would disagree.
It's not, there's nothing in the contract that prevents a sergeant. A lieutenant absolutely needs to be negotiated. Nothing in the contract that says we can't make 12 sergeants.
Everything is contractual. Everything.
but it's stipulated in the contract already what that expenditure is gonna be. It can't be any more than that. It's already written in the
It would
contract.
have to be negotiated.
Let me ask you one question. I think I asked Jeff the other day. If you make a third sergeant with the kind, I think what Scott's coming from is, now we have a third sergeant from here going forward. We can never take that third sergeant beside. See, the part of getting the third sergeant was maybe we do get a lieutenant, and we can't drop. Now we're gonna have 3 sergeants and a lieutenant. I think that's,
You could get rid of the position by attrition. Just like we got rid of the position in
you're
2012.
talking about if they don't, but as long as those 3 sergeants are still working,
That's correct.
they have to stay sergeants.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
I think
But
that's what Jerry
through-
is, right?
Through attrition, like in 2012, when Sergeant Pignatelli left and went to another department.
Right, that's
we
what-
didn't replace him.
that's how we got the
ran
Sergeant
out.
position
So
is,
through attrition, yes.
is the most expensive position in the police department besides the chief, because they get an additional stipend on top of their base salary.
13.5%.
There's a lot of
over
things
5.
that are in the contractual agreements that give sergeants more benefits than the normal officer. I agree you're looking at an admin position, so you would want someone in that caliber. But you also just said that they would still be patrolling,
Correct.
which means if you're patrolling, you can't be doing admin. So you're covering a shift. If you're out on the road the whole shift, you can't be doing admin. So,
Well, thank you for
They're-
making my point. So
they're
let's skip
doing
the
it right
sergeant,
now.
go straight to lieutenant.
But that's
Because
the
that's
point.
my argument. But the only way
But
to
you-
get any movement is to start with the sergeant.
but I mean, I'm making your point to the point is, it wouldn't be an admin super,
No,
person.
he
It would
would-
be another officer on the road.
But they're right now.
He's already on the road. All you're giving him is the authority to be a sergeant and do some of my admin work.
I went a long discussion. I mean, the sergeants right now are doing it and patrolling too at the same time.
Correct.
And
Which is creating an issue and a problem. So sergeants in the
If
middle
you
of
split
doing.
it among 3 people, it would be less time administrating, is my understanding of it.
Correct.
In a perfect world, yes, it would be.
All right.
Okay.
Well, understand, I do appreciate your time, but understand, you got a clock ticking. And good luck on trying to get anybody to run this department if the 3 people, soon to be 4, leave. It's not a threat, it's a reality. The writing is on the wall. 22
I
years
understand
here,
that, Jerry.
22 years at
I
my
understand
dispatcher,
that.
21 years at my sergeant. I got one that's at 19 years.
I
can
understand
happen.
that,
It
but
can
again, adding another sergeant doesn't still prevent that.
It
from
most
happening.
certainly does. It starts my clock. That sergeant.
It doesn't
that-
prevent you from leaving.
No, what it
Doesn't
does do,
prevent
it
anybody-
does do is give you the option to promote that sergeant, whoever that might be. Not today, 3 years from now. He has to be a sergeant for 3 years to be able to run this department as your lieutenant in charge or as your chief of police. Right now, you have nobody.
I agree with that.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm incorrect. Today, you have 2 sergeants you could possibly do that with. I die tomorrow, you could make
I
one of the
agree
2
with that, but
sergeants the
that
chief.
also doesn't mean that that sergeant that you want to promote to sergeant doesn't say, guess what, I want to go to Fishkill now, in 2 years, or
You're
3
right.
years.
But you're not talking
After we
sergeant.
just trained him for 3
But
years.
you're not talking of an officer that's been here 3 years.
I know, I'm just.
After
I'm
5,
just
6
giving
years, you become
I'm giving you the,
untransferable.
I'm giving you the.
I think
the
we
other-
You're
could
not talking
discuss
reality.
this.
That's the problem. You're not
discuss
talking
this a bit
reality.
more.
I
You're
am.
talking in your fantasy world.
I'm talking
You're
reality,
not gonna
Jerry,
get it.
because the reality is, every month someone's coming in here retiring from your department, going to somewhere else. So don't talk to me about
Not
reality and
retiring,
non-reality.
They're quitting. And you're talking officers that are here for less than 5
Okay,
years.
Rick. Jerry,
You're
this is
talking
a-
a career full-time
This is
officer
a
that's gonna
negotiating
make
thing, and
sergeant.
we don't need to negotiate it here. It'll be
Thanks for
negotiated in
Thank
a
you, thank you.
contractual agreement.
Thanks,
That's where it'll be
Jerry.
negotiated.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, tomorrow ITC is coming, Chief?
Yes, sir.
ITC's coming tomorrow, do the phones?
Yeah, that's another thing that I'll do as the chief of police, but not my job. But yeah, I'll take care of your.
Appreciate it, Chief.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Somebody want to read the Superintendent of Highways?
You already got it up there, right?
Yeah, we milled and filled many blacktop spots on Old Indian Road. We also repaired many driveway aprons on Old Indian Road, Old Post Road, Bingham Road, Dock Road, Maple Street, and Watson Avenue. Also on Maple Street and Watson Avenue, we did repairs on road shoulders. We started a project of replacing our street name signs with a new design. Drainage, on 10-6, we replaced 40-foot by 12-inch and 30-foot by 12-inch PVC pipes on 2 driveways on Mount Zion Road that washed out during one of our rainstorms. We started our yearly marking of all catch basins and pipe ends. We cleaned the stream at Bingham Road and Hampton Hills Drive before the water flow. We continued mowing Marlborough and Milton. On 10-18, we assisted Dealer Renzo Tree Care with the tree removal on Maple Street and Watson Avenue. landfill. On 10/19, we did tree trimming and clearing brush. On 10/28 and 10/29, we assisted Di Lorenzo Tree Care with tree removal. On 10/25, we sorted tires for the pickup. Town parks, at Sands Avenue Dog Park, we spent a few days trimming trees. On 10/22, we had 5 trucks hauling blacktop for the paving project. Water department, we assisted the WD with 2 water main breaks on Dock Road in Marlborough. We also assisted DeBella seal coating with repairs on Old Post Road. Shared services, on 10/18, we sent 4 trucks to the town of Kingston to assist in their blacktopping project. Training, on 10/13, we sent 3 men to a snow and ice control class at the Cornell Local Roads Program. Fuel usage, there was no report on gas or diesel. I guess we're still having problems with the pumps. So,
Thank you.
yep.
So, what's on the agenda, which I think I didn't amend the agenda to add, I think, let me see, yeah, I got it under new business. So, what they did is, if you go into the park past the playground, they took a bunch of trees down in the old Christmas tree that the Lions always decorated.
Okay.
It grew too large
Yeah.
for Pete Lyons to do it anymore. So they took down those 3 trees and they planted a ball tree.
Okay.
And so that's on the agenda
Yeah, I
tonight
saw
to
that on
approve that. So thank you, John Alonji, for all that great work. Appreciate it. Charlie Maggio, how are you today, Charlie?
Monthly report for October. Our water consumption totaled 16.360 million gallons, which is a daily usage of 527,740 per day. Compared to last month, we used 16.850 million gallons, which is a daily usage of 561,666. And compared to a year ago, our water consumption was 18.35 million gallons, which is a daily usage of 581,700. Summary for the month: hydrants, we had to repair a hydrant on South Street in Marlborough. Curb boxes, we had to repair curb boxes on Birchall Avenue and Old Post Road. Water mains, we had to repair 2 4-inch water mains on Dock Road in Marlborough, which included replacing 15 feet of water main with the help of the highway department. Billing, calls for high water bills had to be alleviated. Service lines, we had to inspect the service line on Latin Town Road. We also had to install a new service line at the new Dollar General on 9W. Sewer, we had to repair a backflow valve going into the Marlborough sewer plant. We also had to repair 2 yard hydrants that are located in the plant. We also had to rebuild 2 pressure reducing valves. These valves, they reduce the pressure in the hamlet of Marlborough. Calls for high pressure on Youngs Avenue, North Youngs Avenue had to be addressed. Service lines inspection, 1, closings 15, markouts 45, gallons of gas 215, and the mileage for the month is 1,700.
Thank you,
Nice
Charlie.
job.
Any
Thanks,
questions for Charlie? Great job, Charlie. Appreciate it. And thank you for taking care of those sub pumps down at the train station. Appreciate it. Danielle, you want to do the clerk? Thank you, Ed.
You will.
All right. Building department burn permits they totaled $75. Conservation, 11 for $73.40. I think normally Colleen adds all these up, but I didn't. So female spayed, 14. These are dog licenses. 14 for $70. Unspayed 3 for $30. Male neutered 12 for $60, and unneutered 3 for $30, totaling $190. There it is. So, transfer station permits, 3 for $90. Punch cards 30 for $2,470. Marriage licenses 4, $70. Building department Regular fees, $13,999.20. Fire fees, $2,060. Accident reports, 21 for $105. Certified copies, we had 6 transactions totaling $100. Dog warden, he had 1 impound this, in October, and the total was $50. Foil requests, 6 for $19.75, and a train station rental for $300. Grand total, $19,602.35.
Thank
Any questions? Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Danielle. Real quick, Town of Marlborough Dog Control from Andrew McKee. We received a total of 22 calls this month, including 9 calls to service from the New York State Police and the Ulster County Sheriff. Responded to 3 active complaints or cases which are now closed or resolved. We currently have 2 open case of complaint. We impounded 1 stray dog this month. No parents' tickets were issued this month. We have a dangerous dog hearing in progress in the Marlborough Justice Court. We had our 9th successful inspection from the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets this month, and that's from our dog warden, Andrew McKee. Moving forward, Assessor's Office, you want to take that, Ed?
Sure. Assessor's office.
Here, you want to read it from here?
I got it.
It's bigger. Here.
Yeah, it's probably is bigger. To Town Board from Cindy Hilbert, C.C. Colleen Corcoran, November 8, 2021. November report, we prepared 7 tax estimates. We processed 49 sales this month. All the age, non-profit, agricultural, and disability exemptions were mailed out 3 weeks ago. Currently have not received very many back yet. The filing deadline is March 1st, 2022. We are continuing to work on collecting our new construction and field reviewing our sales. Our office has key punched all the sewer and water levies onto our file to be added onto the 2022 Town General Tax Bill. That's it?
Yep, Cindy Hilbert. Thank you
Yeah,
very
it's down
much.
the top there.
You want to take
Planning,
Mr.
Brand.
Councilman Baker's position?
Sure. Planning Board review, October 2021. Applicant fees $1,700, escrow fees $38.50, invoices $1735.81. Meeting October 4th, 2021. Attendees: Chris Brand, Manny Couchy, Steve Clark, Cindy Lanzetta, Bob Tronsolito, and James Garofalo. Agenda: Chevers Airbnb 45 Cross Marlborough Resolution Site Plan. You guys can't see this because I'm reading it, right? So,
That's all right.
Yeah.
I got it on my phone.
well, the audience can't.
Oh.
The applicant received unanimous approval via resolution of approval for the proposed project. Bishop Subdivision, New Road, Mahoney Road, Milton Resolution Subdivision. The applicant received unanimous approval via resolution of the approval of the proposed project. Third on the agenda was Mackey, 540 at 544 Milton Turnpike, Milton sketch lot line. The applicant received ZBA variance for a minimum lot area. The applicant will need to clarify sewer services and building height specifications. Item 4, Lori 11 Mount Rose, Marlborough sketch subdivision. The applicant's proposal requires clarification regarding an existing barn structure on proposed lot number 3. In addition, the applicant must provide a principal permitted use of proposed lot number 3. Questions regarding proposed road dedication and bulk table modifications were discussed. An existing loading ramp depicted on the plan also raised questions. Next deadline, Friday, October 8th, 2021. Next scheduled meeting, Monday, October 18th, 2021. And at the meeting on October 18th, 2021, attendees were Chris Brand, Manny Couchy, Cindy Lanzetta, Joe LaFaro, Bob Tronsolito, and James Garofalo. Agenda number 1, approval of stenographic minutes for 9/20/2021 was unanimously approved by all members. Number 2, Taddeo Giametta, 141618 Riverview Drive, Milton, public hearing, lot line. A public hearing was opened, however, the applicant's representative failed to mail out the proper notifications to all the required landowners. The public hearing was adjourned until November 1st, 2021, to allow the appropriate mailings to be completed. Second on the agenda, Henry's Farm to table 2020 North Road, Milton Public Hearing Site Plan. Public hearing was opened, however, the applicant representative failed to mail out any notifications. The public hearing was adjourned until November 1st, 2021 to allow the appropriate mailings to be completed. How does that happen?
I don't know.
Good answer.
Is that right on the number one thing on the checklist?
Yeah, it's like the one thing you do for a public hearing. Unfortunately,
Yep.
you didn't do it.
All right, it's just,
They got it done,
yeah,
but
they get it. Third was Gallows Subdivision, 46 Idlewild Road, Marlborough Sketch Subdivision. The applicant's representative provided details for the project, questions regarding on-site agricultural use, setbacks, water provisions, and relocation of the driveway were discussed. A public hearing was scheduled for November 15th, 2021. Fourth, Quang, how do you say that? Quang Division?
Yeah.
24 Platico Road, Marlborough Sketch Subdivision. The applicant representative provided detail for the project. Additional clarification for code enforcement officer will be sought. To certain of the applicant will require ZBA approval for the approval. Lordy 11 Mount Rose, Marlborough Sketch Subdivision lot line. The applicant representative presented revised plans to the board to review a lot line change. Instead of previously proposed subdivision, the board authorized their attorney to prepare a resolution of approval for the next meeting. Next deadline, Friday, October 22nd, 2021. Next scheduled meeting, Monday, November 1st, 2021. Respectfully submitted, Chris Band, Chairman of the Marlborough Planning Board.
thank you,
Yeah.
Councilman Corcoran. Okay, moving on, report of committees, Recreation Committee. I have down in new business trunk or treat review. We could do the Recreation Committees right now. I think we had between 600 kids come to the trunk or treat. It was very successful. Everybody had a good time. It was done safely. I'd like to thank Councilman Corcoran, the Recreation Committee, Officer Fulton, all the police department, the fire departments that were there, John Alonji and his trucks. The basketball thing behind the truck was a big hit. It was a great idea. One of the men had, and all around it was a great day. And the buzz in Marlborough was really good with Sheila Manisi, the businesses handing out candies, and then a very moving moment with the jazz ensemble from the high school dedicating a couple of songs to Tony Falco. All in all, I think it was a great day. Everybody enjoyed themselves.
Good turnout, very good turnout.
It's a great turnout. It's all weather related. If the weather's good, then
Yeah. And it was a Sunday, so it was a weekend that Halloween fell on, so
yeah,
everything came together.
it's
So,
a good call canceling it Saturday and having the rain date on Sunday. It just worked out good. And then the kids had their costumes on and to go trick or treat. And unfortunately, Al, I couldn't make it down to Milton, but I hear you had a great turnout too.
Yeah, that was good down there.
So any idea how many people you had, or?
Like the usual, it was a lot. About 50 to 100 probably.
Yeah,
something like that.
I hear it was really good. Well, that's great. So it's all the community stuff that's going on, so Marlborough is a buzz. Anything else on Recreation Committee?
one thing, I talked to Vivian today, inquiring about a tree lighting in Milton, and we had a good discussion, and talked to the man at the firehouse, and talked to some other people. We're looking for December 5th, I believe it is. That's a Sunday. Let me just go back to yes, December 5th. Not sure what time yet. Once we get some more information together, we'll put that on our site. And
Probably in the afternoon
we'll
with the
advertise
weather
it.
the way it is in the morning. You
But
don't wanna-
have a tree lighting ceremony. She has some music there. Santa
1
Claus will
o'clock
be
or
there.
something.
Firehouse always helps out doing things down there, so should be a good day.
Have some caroling?
Caroling going on by the Cub Scouts.
Okay.
So I think it'll be a good event. Hopefully the weather's good, and
Yeah.
she's gonna get a, Vivian says she's gonna actually get a tree that they cut, since they cut the one tree down.
Yeah.
And we'll kinda like, it's like we do here, prop it up in a way, keep it up, so. As we get more information on that, I'll let you know, but that's the tentative date, the 5th.
Yeah, maybe, do you think the gentleman friend would donate a tree for that?
Maybe.
I know we
Well, she
have-
said she had somebody that
Okay.
would get it, so I was like, I let her, because I did talk to him, and he's getting bombarded with donations.
Yeah.
Who, Menard?
So he's actually asking this year we actually pay for one, and he'll donate one, so
So, yeah.
we'll
So
see.
basically, what we get is the two, right? We do
Yeah.
the blue light ceremony and
Yeah,
and the highway department gets one in
Yeah.
front of them. Okay. It's only fair. It
Yeah,
helps the
so-
local businessmen out.
right. That's what I told him. I said, that's fair, because
That's
he's getting bombarded, so.
Anything else, recreation? No? Emergency management preparedness, no report out?
No report.
There's no report on the CAC. Like I said, the IT, we're gonna have our phones up, software upgraded tomorrow, so that'd be all great. There's no report on the Milton train station. I think that's up to the foundation if they want to spend some money for a utility pole and to hire a electrician to put, a meter on that for spotting the trains on CSX trains, and having that done. The camera and everything else, they supply that, the organization that does it. And so it's up to them to decide what they want to do on that end. I don't think that the board would have a problem if, once they set it up, if they do set it up, that we pay for the electricity, because I don't think it'd be mem. And it's an advantage for the train station, too. Milton Land and Citizens Committee, Al?
Not really, just, we worked on, I'm still waiting to hear back from the captain on CETO, but we got all set up with Randy. He's going to be here mid-November to end of November to pull the floating dock down, and Luke, he'll be ready for us up to the end of November. So we should be in good shape there.
And great news with Rosemary and Jerry receiving a $40,000 grant.
Yeah, for the kayak slip.
Yeah, for the kayak, for the, it's all-inclusive kayak, I guess you could say. So
Yeah.
it's a great thing. I think the amount was $40,000. They're just remarkable group, and Mr. Baker and John Behem were involved in that whole grant writing of that estuary grant for the $40,000 for that. Marlborough Hamlet Economic Development Committee, no report. I didn't get a report from Meet Me in Marlborough. Anybody know what's going on? Except, the thing in the town that Sheila put on, that she always puts on.
Oh, right in the, yeah.
And that was very successful, and it was great, because you go into Marlborough, you see it buzzed up, almost like going to Beacon or something like that. A little different, but there was a lot of people, and there was a good buzz around, and everybody was feeling good that day.
I think November 20th, is it? They're having the holiday fair
Yes.
that they have at the
Yeah.
elementary school.
Oh, yeah.
That's a,
I think it's the
Saturday.
20th.
yeah, it's a Saturday.
Yeah, I believe it's November 20th.
Maybe not this Saturday, but the following.
That's always good. I think we go there and get some Christmas presents and
Yep.
support local people, and it's always good to do that.
Yep.
Hamlet and Milton Association Committee, anything, Al?
No,
No report. Transfer Station Review Committee, I think they started getting the tractor tires, do you know? I think Howard
I
said.
talked to
Howard
Larry.
said that he had
Howard
Yeah,
said that.
in his
I
note,
talked to
that's it.
Larry today. The problem is now they don't really want the tractor tires.
They
So
were-
they said they said that we could bring them 2 tractor tires a week. I'm like, well, Larry, I don't know what that's gonna, I said, can you call them back and say, will they take the truck tires? Because I think that's more of what they're into up there. ITC, is that who's up there?
I don't know what the news.
And so he called back, and they said, yes, they'll take 20 truck tires a week. So we talked to John, and he says he will manage it with them to try to get them 20 truck tires a week right now, up to our budgeted number that we had originally talked about. And then in the spring, we'll do that first load of the big load of,
You know how much
Tires
they're
get-
charging for the truck tires?
I think it's the
What's with
same as what they were doing for
The tractor,
the
70?
tractor tires.
Yeah,
The
that's
$15
$15 a piece, yep.
Okay.
So
I think we have a budget for $1,200 or
Well,
something around that?
he could get up to about 70-something tires out of there, so.
It's a start.
It's a start, but these are the bigger ones, you know, those are the harder ones to get rid of, so John is agreed to do that and work with them, so, yeah.
It's great. Of course, I think the plan that we sent to DEC is that most of the tires will
Yeah.
be gone by 2023.
Correct.
Yeah, 2-year plan, yep.
Yep. Moving right along. So that's the transfer station. Tomvac rehabilitation update. As I stated, Mr. Baker and Mr. Corcoran met with Phil Bell. We're a little concerned about his rate. He's charging on over 800 plus project 24%.
That's good.
And the 24% is for all the drawings, and because of the Wix law, there's 5 different drawings that has to do, I think, is 4. So it's the AC, it's the plumbing, it's general contractor,
Electric,
and the electrical.
yep.
So I have in my possession those contracts to sign with Mr. Bell. I just want to put it on record that I was never too happy about the 24%. I don't think Mr. Baker or Mr. Corcoran were either. I mean, that's $200,000 of an $800,000 project. But he seems to justify it, and so we got to move forward. So we don't want to move backwards on this project. So I'm asking permission from the board to sign those agreement contracts with Mr. Bell.
I just wanted, just up a little more on that, is like, it's not just the engineering work and the architecture work, it's site management work, the overseeing of all 4 bids that have to go in on this, and being there almost every day. He almost has to be like the guy that oversees all these
He's gonna be
GC,
a
so.
clerk of the works then.
Yeah, so it's a little more than just the normal engineering work, so.
I
There is
understand.
more to it, but it is a lot of money, and we did have multiple discussions about this. And the number, just to be 100% transparent right now, I'm sure Al read, is $192,077.97. So it is quite a bit of money. But I think, talking with Howard and Al, and the thing is, we're so far into this with him already, and he already has expenses that we've already paid for and designs that are started to be worked on, that to stop this now, I think in the long run, we end up paying more to get someone else in and start all over. So that's why we're recommending to the board to move forward with this.
So would you like to make a motion that the supervisor sign those contracts? Yeah, I would.
I'll make the motion that we move forward and sign these contracts.
We need a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Kicking and screaming.
Kicking and screaming. Okay. I just want to read that, what Howard said. He said, Howard and Scott, we met with Phil Bell to discuss the project scope and details. Phil has submitted a contract for signing so that we can begin the process. Although his fee is in the high side, approximately 24%, I recommend we sign the contract and not delay the project any further so that we may be able to select bids for the February timeframe, approximately. So he agrees also. I just want to relay that message from Mr. Councilman Baker. That being said, moving right along. Don't want to forget anything, Ed. I don't know if we're ever going to do anything with that water district improvement, but you can keep it on there.
I don't think it's ever.
The South Pier update, I think Mr. Baker, Councilman Baker, actually wrote the latest estimate I have for the fender pile system is around 136K. That's for the big boats, big boats, with normal overhead and profit built in, and 20% contingency would bring that number to 212K. This is the number I hinted at our last board meeting. Adding 10% for engineering and project administration would bring the number to 231K. Obviously, this is very high, and I suggest we would need to look at alternate design. And he asked if you guys agree. I agree. That's pretty high, to 231. If so, I can get back to Titan Bond and discuss other alternates. We also have to do something to cover the removal railing during the off-season. Need an estimate for that work, which I would pursue. Alan has made arrangements for the floating dock removal this fall. There are also some items with our building inspector which need to be resolved, which I will work on when I get back in town later this week. So I think he pretty much wraps that up. You have anything to say about that? Anything else, Alan?
No, I'm good.
Every time he goes back to Tettenbaum, are they charging us? For, when he goes back to them to say, do you have an alternate
No.
design, do you do this?
No,
Like,
no.
have they been billing us for their hourly
I haven't
time?
received.
Have you seen anything?
No, I haven't seen any other bills from Titan Bond. And she's done a lot of work.
No, yeah.
It's amazing. If it was the other guy, I think we'd be hit with a pretty big bill. But that being said, I think they really enjoyed working with the town on this project. The way it came out was outstanding, and they have a lot of pride in that, and they want to see us succeed. So I think that's one of the reasons really why Howard talks to Randy from Titan Bond, and I haven't gotten anything so far as charges. But it's not Titan Bond, the engineer. It's actually Arden, the people who actually did the work. That Howard and I don't know if Alan's involved, but trying to get the specs on all the welding and everything that a building inspector needs. And they've been just pushing that off. So we've been trying to get all that stuff to Tom, so this way everything is certified and everything's cool. But, you know.
So the issue though, the only issue with that whole thing is if, and I believe this is right, when he gets all that information and if he closes out the building permit, correct? We then lose our permit to do anything further in the water. Is that correct?
That permit is conclusive to what Rosemary Wine got from the estuary grant. So all those permits have dates on it.
Right.
So it doesn't it's not contingent on what the building inspector and him saying you have the CO or whatever you have to do to make that.
So if he gives a CO, let's just say he does give a CO on it and everything is good, it doesn't preclude us to go back into the water and do without having to go back and get new permits.
I don't know what those dates are where
Right.
we can't go back into the water. I think it's time sensitive. We might have lost that date already from the DEC.
I think
whoever permits
it's
that.
December of this year. I
Right.
think it's December of 21.
Yeah, so
I think.
I don't think we'll be putting any pilings in this year because of cost.
We just have to go for more permits. That's
Yeah, we'll have to go from the permit, and that takes some time. But they give us the first one. I don't know what it'll take. And the DEC, they're shorthanded to begin with. Then it depends on, because we vibrate them in, so this way we don't pound them in, so disturbing the eggs for the fish who spawn down there.
It
all depends on that.
I wish we had gotten more information up in the beginning of before we cut those out, that these things were really needed. Because at the time, yes, it was a lot of money, but
Yeah.
It
knowing
was only
now what
$100
we
grand
know,
then though, right?
we we can't even do what we originally planned on wanting that pier to do, right? We can't have any of these boats that want to come here even
Not
dock
the big
there.
boats, but we could have
I think,
smaller boats.
guys, it goes back to, we didn't build that pier for the boats, we built the pier for the people.
No,
Yeah.
well, that's true,
And the boats, you
And the
were
boats
involved,
were
you know.
sugar on top that came
Yeah.
later. We
but the
didn't plan
boats
for it.
was a big part of it
That
too.
was a big part of the economic whatever's that
The
we were
one
trying
boat,
to create.
in the beginning, guys, the only boat that was even thinking about coming there was
US
the SS Columbia.
That's a
So,
huge boat.
And that was once a year,
And that's not even
so,
finished.
but it was
Yeah, I
more for
understand what you're
putting the
saying.
people up.
The bumper system that was originally proposed was 100,000. We had to take it out. We had no choice, unfortunately.
Well, we had a choice, but
We didn't have the money. We always have choices, right? So that's the South Pier. New business purchasing of a ball Christmas tree. Like I said, John already did that. I think the cost was $340. So I need a motion to approve the cost of the bald Christmas tree.
rip it out of the ground.
It's in there already.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right. Make everybody happy, especially our budget director. And we talked about this with the email, so changing the name of the Marlborough Nature Trail to the Tony Falco Nature Trail. I think that's a great idea.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? You have a dollar amount that you want to put on it? I don't think it's going to cost that much,
No, yeah.
$200 bucks?
Yeah, whatever, that's fine.
Put a
Yeah,
nice sign up.
yeah, nice sign. I mean, don't go chance on it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. You all right with that, Scott?
Yes.
He's spending money. He
He's
likes it.
spending money with
It's the
a,
first
Time
course.
ever.
he's saying don't go chintzy on it, he says. I agree.
So,
This is for Tony, so.
If everybody's okay, I'd like the trail committee to come up with something and then present it to the town.
Mhm.
And move forward that way.
That's fine.
Okay. I need permission to sign for the agreement with Tilcon and the Poughkeepsie Firing Range. They lawyered and got everything done on their side. I'm asking permission to send that agreement to our lawyers to make sure that the town of Marlborough is okay.
I'll make a motion, we send the contractor or lawyer.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.
And we talked about trunk or treat already. There was no correspondence. Any public comment? Anybody from the public? Do you have something to say, young lady? Okay.
Next time. All right. Well, I just want, I'm gonna ask the board two questions of new business because it's something that's gonna be happening in the new year, right? I just wanted to ask if we should advertise for the positions, for planning board seat, which we know there's gonna be one open.
Right.
And I don't know how, I would like to advertise for the town board seat that might be open, so we could see if people are interested
What you
in
put
it.
together, I don't have a problem with that.
So I just want to get the board's okay that we could actually advertise for those two
I'll
positions.
make a motion.
I
I have
second.
another question while you're bringing that up.
Yeah.
Obviously, the person that's gonna be the fifth council person is you and me are deciding, and also the two council people that are on board. Now, they're not on the council, so we could actually have a meeting with them before, because they're not councilmen right now, correct? If we wanna interview them all together.
You could have a meeting with the people that were elected, that's not a problem.
That's what I'm saying.
I
So if we were,
mean, you're not gonna make any decisions as far as.
until
the
next
town.
year, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I want to be
He
proactive.
wants to
and-
be proactive, and I don't blame him.
and
He's
have
going
it
to advertise for
set
a
up.
planning board member.
Right,
and-
but I'm saying is, we would probably all wanna interview the people that, as a whole, there's
Yeah.
four of us.
I don't see why we couldn't.
Right.
So
It's not
this,
a quorum at that point, is it? I
this,
don't know.
No, it's not.
this is the way I see it going with the new administration. I could be wrong on this, but once they're sworn in and everybody's sworn
Then you
in,
can-
you have the new supervisor. I think Scott is looking, he wants to be proactive, so in his kitty, he wants to have a bunch of names that whoever is the liaison for the planning
Right.
would interview those people, and then
Get
the
back to the
board
point.
would interview the new position that's vacant from Councilman Councilman Corcoran.
Yeah, I want to be proactive and have
No, I
people
agree.
ready to go.
I make a motion to advertise for
Yeah.
both positions.
We agree. We agree.
And we will, not this meeting, but next meeting, we will have Board of Assessment review and a couple other that are coming up, but Gina
you
wants
do-
to send those letters out to those people first.
Okay. It's fine. I have no problem
And
with
we'll go
that.
from there.
I have no problem with that.
All right, so, all right, thank you.
And then, whenever you want to meet, we'll do the transition and everything.
Yeah. That we'll start doing.
Okay.
soon.
He made the motion,
Eddie seconded.
and I seconded it.
And I said all in favor, and everybody
said
said aye.
Alexis?
There we go. Yeah. The LexisNexis, I need permission to sign that municipal contract with the school.
All motion.
I don't think we're voting on it,
Are you voting on it, or
is that a resolution, or?
giving him permission? to sign?
No.
Yeah, I'm good,
That's
I'll
not
second
on,
it.
if people out in the audience don't see that on the agenda, that's an agreement we have with the school district, and that's for getting property tax identifications, and we do it with the school and the assessor's office as a joint resolution to share costs, so. just
And
to-
we changed the agenda to reflect
Yeah.
that we were going to do that. So that's good. So I'll take care of that tomorrow. So I have the resolution, Resolution 80, to approve and ratify the retainer agreement and authorize the supervisor to deliver the release to facilitate the recovery of $50,000 arising out of the claim. Supervisor Lanzetta proposed the following. Whereas the incident gave rise to a claim for damages in favor of the town of Marlborough against the driver of the other automobile pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 207C, the claim. Whereas pursuant to Town Law, Section 29A, the supervisor is empowered to pursue in the name of the town for all monies of property due the town. And whereas to pursue the claim, the supervisor... Huh?
Prosecute.
Oh, prosecute, I'm sorry.
All right.
I don't prosecute anybody.
Oh, you are
Whereas
now.
to
You are now.
prosecute the claim, the supervisor on behalf of the town engaged the service of Michael D. Blight, Esquire, pursuant to retainer agreement dated December the 1st, 2020. The retainer agreement end. Whereas Attorney Bly successfully prosecuted the claim, which resulted in the net recovery to the town in the amount of $50,000. And whereas to receive the net recovery of the amount, $50,000, it is necessary for the supervisor to execute a full release of all claims and demands, the release, the terms of which have been reviewed and approved by the town attorney. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board approves ratifies the retainer agreement and authorize the supervisor to deliver the release to facilitate the recovery of the $50,000 arising out of that claim. And she didn't put in, oh yeah, the next page. And the following resolution was duly put to a vote, which resulted as follows.
Supervisor Lanzetta,
Yes,
Councilman Molinelli,
I just have a question.
yes,
Said you told them that you signed it without us knowing about it, she said it still was upheld.
no, I signed an agreement for him to move forward.
Right, but I'm just saying, because we didn't authorize you to do it, is that agreement, and that's what we asked you to check with the lawyers, to make sure that was a real agreement, even though you didn't come to us for it.
Right,
Did you ask them? That's what
yes,
I'm asking you.
that's what the resolution is all about.
I saw it, I read it,
It's ratified that.
Okay, but that's the part you ratified.
Yeah, and basically, what it also said is, according to Town Law, Section 29A, I was in the right to sign that without approval,
Okay.
because I'm bringing money into the town.
No, I understand that money into the town, I have no
Yeah.
problem with that.
Okay.
It's the way it was done.
So, you're up.
Yes.
Danielle?
Councilman Corcoran?
No,
Oh, wait, so you said yes. Okay, I'm assuming. Eddie?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Councilman Corcoran?
No.
No. Councilman Koenig?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll sign it then and get that money for the town.
Where exactly does that money go?
General fund problem. So, it's $50,000,
So we get
but then
34?
he gets 1/3, And it's like 34,000 that comes to the town.
So 1/3 plus expenses.
Yeah.
You're
I
lucky you
don't
get
know, I don't think
50%.
that expensive is, but it's still it's not a bad thing.
You know, I voted no because I don't believe in these types of lawyers. That's my opinion, so nothing against what you're doing. It's just, I don't believe in that, so that's why I voted no.
And you have the right to believe
Yep.
in whatever you believe.
You guys know.
I respect that.
You know my opinion.
So, moving forward, Alan,
Yeah, I'd love to stay and chat all night, but Monday Night Football's on, so I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
all in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. Thank you all out there in Never